What up, everybody? This is Double G for the Fight Game Podcast, continuing our series of Road to WrestleMania podcasts with my buddy Big D. What's up, man?
Hey, I'm good, bro. We were just talking about James Harden, and he's more over than any of these guys, man.
Out of the blue, D, who follows basketball from time to time, just asked me if James Harden was going to win the MVP, and he most definitely is going to win the MVP. He should have won it last year, but you know what? My Warriors. You know, it's there. What does Roman say? It's his yard right now. It's the Warriors' yard. So Houston has to come and beat the Warriors to get to the championship.
What a bias!
It is their yard. They're the defending champs. That's what it means.
No, I know you're right. It's just that this dude, I had 5 people hit me up last night and be like, "Yo, watch that game," and I was like, "Fine." I started watching. I'm like, "Wow, this dude's possessed by Dr. J or something, man." That it was great. He's awesome.
He is awesome, and you know who else is awesome is Daniel Bryan. If you saw, well, I guess if you didn't see any of the news yesterday, you probably just were not following anything wrestling related whatsoever. Yesterday, in the early afternoon, WWE sent out a tweet that said that Daniel Bryan was going to be cleared and he would be able to wrestle again, which was heavily rumored over the weekend. Actually, I wouldn't say heavily because I think a lot of people missed this one. But there was a story that had come out that he was interviewed and asked if he was going to wrestle again. And basically he said, you know, I forgot the percentage that he gave, but you know, he said it's better today than it has been in the past. So that was kind of a little bit of a clue that said that, you know, maybe there was some good news coming out. And then yesterday it came out and he was on Smackdown. He was the main part of the opening segment and the ending segment. He was great. He looked like he had not missed a beat at all. So let's tackle the first part, which was his. Actually, even before that, you are a huge Daniel Bryan fan. When you saw the news, you didn't.
He's
really,
a coward, bro.
You didn't really believe me, and then you saw it yourself, and I imagine you got pretty excited.
Well, it's not that I was kidding about him being a coward, even though he has been. No, I was surprised because. Well, actually, remember the real story was you asked me if I had heard he was cleared, and I was like. I had heard the same thing Dave said, which is that comment he made last week about because the comment they asked him if he's going to wrestle, and he pretty much said if I'm cleared. He didn't say no, and then that was kind of well, wait a minute, are they talking again? Is Dr. Joseph Maroon going to give him a shot? And he did. I mean, we don't have all the details yet. I assume the Observer probably this week or next week is going to go into more detail. But, you know, this dude's been fighting because this is a real life story here. This is not even they're going to turn it into a storyline, but it's a real life story. I mean, the dude had brain problems. And, you know, we've talked in the past, you know,
rewind slightly about what that means. So he had several concussions. He had admitted to a doctor that he even had a seizure at one point. So you're talking about concussions in a business in which, you know, guys get concussions often. And you know, he did the retirement thing in 2016. He was sort of forced to do it. Vince also probably wanted to turn it into a high-rated segment, so he sort of forced the hand there. And Daniel was not going to get cleared because of the situation with the doctors. And so, so that's what he has been fighting, which is basically to heal, or for his brain to heal enough for Dr. Maroon to be okay with him coming back. And Bryan, you know, had done a lot of stuff. He'd done his homework. He was not desperate, but he really wanted to come back in WWE to try to convince them. But knowing that if it wasn't going to be in WWE, he was probably still going to wrestle, whether it be in the Independents or ROH or New Japan. Or whatever it was. So once he got the clearance, it was good to go. And but being that, you know, you've been following this dude's career from the beginning,
yes,
did you think this time was going to happen?
I actually thought he was gonna. I mean, before. I thought he was going to go to Japan. Like I predicted that like later this year he would end up maybe headline that Cody Rhodes show and then work in New Japan, which I kind of wanted, just for match quality stuff. Because him working with those guys would be just something else. But no, he's staying. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. When he was out there cutting that promo, someone was chopping onions in my living room, bro, for some reason. I'm being real. I didn't bawl or anything, but I felt it in my chest because he was bawling. Because the thing about this man is that he just wants to wrestle, and he actually likes the sport of wrestling. Does that make him a mark? I'm sure 80s wrestlers would probably say that, but the dude did make his money. He's making good money. He is a main eventer, no matter what. He's because of what he's done with the Yes Chant and what he did in 2014. Let's not forget, no matter what, he defeated all of Evolution in one night at WrestleMania 30, right? And no one can take that away from him. Even if he retired, the history books will always tell us that he defeated Evolution, all of them, in one night. So, having him come back and wrestle for the biggest company, as much as seeing him wrestle Okada and Omega and Naito would be great, there's so many matches in WWE that we haven't seen on the bigger stage. Him and AJ, I've got Ring of Honor DVDs of them wrestling and actually headlining shows back in 2003. We haven't seen that. And also Bryan Danielson Nakamura is another potential match. Let's not forget that Daniel Bryan took the flying knee from Nakamura, bro. That was his move. And, that could be a great strong style match. There's a lot of great matches they have in their back pocket, that they could bust out with. Daniel Bryan against Braun Strowman would be a spectacle. And of course, Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar someday maybe. The point I'm trying to make is that I did not think it was going to happen. But from what I understand, this guy – from what I understand, this dude, he's been okay, I don't know much about the brain studies. I don't know the details of it. I'm not a doctor. But from what we understand.
Really? You're not a doctor?
I'm not, believe it or not. I'm not. Nor do I play one on television. But he's been doing a lot of his own not self-medication, but self-research. I don't know if he's working with Nowinski, but the idea of him never wrestling again, from what we understand, right, every doctor pretty much said he's good to go except for Dr. Joseph Maroon. So either they retested him or maybe enough doctors called Joseph Maroon. They were like, hey, dude, try him again. But something definitely changed. And I got to be honest with you, dude, this makes WrestleMania that much more special. I'm going to be very real with you because that's the building he won the title in, when he beat Evolution. The card is already pretty damn stacked. I mean, it is a stacked card. Some of the build-ups have been hit or miss, but, him being a part of this show, it makes it even more historic. I really feel that way. And so I'm happy. I'm not worried about him anymore. If all these doctors have said he's okay, including Maroon, I'm not worried about it. I do want him to not do any more of those ridiculous headbutts he did with Nigel McGuinness, because poor Nigel is not wrestling ever again because of that. I would like him to kind of work on more of a submission style. I think if he wrestled like Asuka, where he does a lot of submissions and, you can do the European style, a lot of chain wrestling. You don't have to do headbutts and flying, splashes. He doesn't have to do that. The flying kicks, I guess, are okay because those are pretty safe. I think he'll be fine. I really do. He's not even that old.
I think you'll know basically all that you all of your questions will be answered when the Observer comes out tonight, early tomorrow morning.
I think so too. Did you read it already?
No, I didn't read it. It hasn't come out yet.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Never mind.
And so the interesting thing about this to me now, I don't know. People are going to be talking about, like you said, how many interesting matchups there are. AJ and Daniel Bryan and Nakamura and all these guys. I think I would pump the brakes on that slightly, and I would gauge how he does in the early comeback. Because if you remember, they had to take the belt off him when he won it at WrestleMania 30. And what's funny is that he's gonna come back to the place that he won the title
That's right. Very emotional.
Right.
Very emotional.
So 4 years later or whatever. But I wouldn't future book him so soon because he's got to.
No, I'm just saying that they could do it now. That's what I'm saying.
Sure, but he's only under contract until a specific time frame, right? And you would imagine that WWE will want to wait and see how he does in these next few months to whether or not they re-sign him. I'm assuming that if he's healthy, that they'll want him because they know that he could leave, and he is very willing to do so. So I would just let's take it slow. Let's make sure he gets through this show. And so the interview that you mentioned was great. I thought it sold more WrestleMania network subscriptions. I'm sorry, more WWE network subscriptions than anything they've done so far, including Ronda and Brock.
Including Ronda. That's interesting.
And it was just great. Like you mentioned, he thanked his wife a few different times, and every time, do you notice every time he mentioned her name, his voice cracked? So that was a real part of this, which is, he wanted to play the good soldier with WWE. And he wanted to, you remember the whole gratitude thing from the first promo, and I think that was real. But then you have his wife, on the other hand, saying, it's great that you're thankful for them, but it doesn't mean that you have to stop trying. And I thought that was pretty powerful. And it seemed, in him retelling the story, he was very inspired by that. So, okay, so. Yeah.
There's a lot. This has been, I think this has been something that has been a strong part of their marriage for the past 4 years or so. I think that this is something that he's been dealing with personally, and there's been a lot of frustration. We've seen footage of him lifting heavy weights and things like that, on Twitter and Instagram and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like, this has been a real personal journey, and I don't think we're ever going to understand that journey until they put a documentary out, which I think they should. I think we need a documentary on this. I think what has happened with his brain is going to be something that athletes from all over the world in every sport need to watch. Even though it's wrestling, it needs to be seen, because this could be some real breakthrough stuff as far as longevity of careers and things like that. This has to be documented, bro. It has to be.
I mean, from a science perspective, I don't know what they could do, to tell that story. It was basically a healing process, right? It was like any other muscle in your body having to heal from an injury, and the brain is just that much more delicate than everything, right? Because it's the entire function of your body and of your life, and so it'll be interesting to see, at what rate it healed and what was the thing that made them all of a sudden agree. And, it was this long 2-year process or whatever it was. But, the thing, again, to think about is what happens if he gets another concussion, and how does that affect him being cleared again? Because if you remember, when he came back for WrestleMania 31, he won the Intercontinental Championship in the ladder match. I think it was literally the next night, or maybe it was 2 nights after that, he got hurt again. And, it happened that quickly. So that's why I kind of say pump the brakes, because, this kind of stuff, it's a little bit unpredictable. And a lot of it is going to be on how safe that he is. And also based a lot on luck, right? Like, a lot of this is based on luck. So let's fast forward to the end of the show.
I just want to give a quick shout out to those of you who are watching this on World of Geekdom. Last podcast that we did broke 5,000 views, which is big. They're all getting bigger and bigger. And thank you for sitting through, and enjoying this, because these are long form, content. The last one that we did is at almost at 5,000. It's at 4.7 thousand, but whatever. We'll round it up like WWE does. So I mean, I'm very thankful for that. But no, I just want to say, we can go to the ending segment. By the way, Smackdown sucked. It was really boring. If it wasn't for it, got a great rating, but Daniel Bryan was the only thing that mattered on that show. I don't care about seeing Naomi and Becky Lynch. I don't care about Baron Corbin ever. I never have. I never will.
Well, that's Smackdown every week, man.
I know, but last week was really bad. Like, it was a chore to get through. This or last night, whatever, 2 nights ago. That show was a chore to get through. It sucked, but If you have not seen it yet, I would highly advise you to check out the replay on whenever they aired on Universal HD or whatever. Just watch the segments on YouTube. The first segment with Daniel Bryan and the closing segment. Everything else is literally a waste of time. There was even the Nakamura match with Rusev was not as good as the Fastlane one. It was just pointless, in my opinion.
I like the Charlotte and Natalya match. I thought that was a good match, but the main event segment was and so throughout, Daniel Bryan was saying that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were not in the building yet. He wanted to meet them one-on-one. He wanted to have them to explain themselves, and so they came out. They were really happy that Daniel Bryan was able to wrestle again, and then Daniel Bryan had to break the news to them, which is you kind of took out your frustration on the boss's son.
By the way, I just wanted to real quick say I loved how they hugged the beginning of it, and I loved how they made allusions to the Indies, and I loved the facials that Owens and Zayn. See, these guys are good. The faces because Sami Zayn made this face like, can you believe this? Like, that's the art of wrestling. They're really good at what they do. But continue.
And basically Daniel Bryan had to break the news to them that he was going to fire them for what they did. And he said, this is not personal. This doesn't mean that it's forever, but this is what we have to do right now. Now,
which is why what they told him when he choked out Justin Roberts with a tie.
How seriously does it are they taking this? Well, Kevin Owens has changed his name on Twitter to Kevin Steen.
Wow.
And
I wouldn't know because he has me blocked for some reason. Remember that whole thing?
You probably called him fat one time. That's why.
I tweeted out, I said, it always pops me when Kevin Owens does fat moves. And he blocked me, I believe, for that. That's legit what happened. But I like when he does fat. I was putting him over.
Yeah, whatever. And so he's also changed his Twitter handle to Fight Steen Fight.
Come on, bro. Oh, well, let's not forget Prince Nevitt and Tyler Black. Is that what they're doing now? Or is that what WWE's going to do this week? That's the Vince McMahon prerogative? I don't know.
Well, that was Miz got the name wrong. Like, I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird. And so they attacked him. And here's what I thought was great, right? So he gets attacked, and I'm just thinking, like, okay, I see where this is going. They're going to, like, really beat him up and, it's kind of just your normal beatdown, but he had the most amazing comeback. He hit like 4 drop kicks in the corner, and he was getting up on those things. Yeah, he was doing the yes kicks. Like, it was such a great comeback. But like heels and like you do in angles like this, they got him back, and then they did the powerbomb spot onto the side of the apron, which I think that's the thing that made everyone cringe. What did you think about that moment?
I've been told that's not as... I've been told one of the illusions of wrestling is that it's not as hard as people think it is. It is harder than the middle of the ring, but I was told that it's not that dangerous unless you land on, like, your face or your neck. It's really not that bad. So, but I thought the beatdown was great and the comeback was great, and I expected it. I mean, once they cleared him, it's like it's going to be Bryan and Shane against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, which I love that match. And I just wonder, how the hell does Shane McMahon, bro, every year this fucking guy books himself with, like, the best wrestlers, bro. Like, Taker, all right, legend, fine, gimmick match. He had the AJ match last year, and now it's him, Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, El Generico, since we're doing that, and Kevin Steen. And it's like, how does this dude always book himself? It's like when Vince would book himself with backstage segments with the divas. They would, like, be all over him in 2006 when he had that fetish. The same thing here. But I think it's going to be awesome, dude. This card at WrestleMania, I guess we can talk about it later on, but I'm worried because every match should get time. But if every match gets time, it's going to be like 12 hours. So it's like I'm in that weird phase now where it's like the card needs to be longer matches, but it's also like it's going to be a nightmare timeout is what I'm telling you. But anyways, no, to answer your question, I liked it. I can't wait for them to announce the match because that's obviously the match. I mean, that's going to be it. Shane and Bryan against Owens and Generico, right? I mean, or Steen, whatever, bro. Owens and Sami, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, I'm assuming that that's where it's headed. It makes all the sense in the world. The thing that I am wondering about when it comes to this match. Well, so to answer your question about the Shane thing, like, I mean, Shane's not booking, right? Like, Shane's just a performer, and
yeah, but he's also the son and brother of the bookers. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think Vince thinks that Shane is a draw to some extent, and also Shane is terrible, so you have to put him with guys who can actually wrestle, because or else, you know, you're just gonna have a situation with Jericho in Survivor Series a couple years ago where he has to yell at him and go like, slow down, or else I'm gonna punch you in the mouth for real. And then the other thing is that this angle has been really good, and so while watching Shane wrestle is not my favorite thing in the world, the angle and the conflict between him and Daniel Bryan, and then him and Owens and Zayn, has been really good just about every week. So it makes sense to that, you know, you pay off your conflict.
It's the best storyline of the. Isn't it the best SmackDown angle of the past like 7 months, especially around December, January? It got really good.
Yeah, so it makes all sense in the world to me. So, so that match, I think, like you said, I think that's going to happen. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure, but I would think that there's still something Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon that they will pay off at some point, because that was kind of where the heat was with the confrontation, was those two guys. And you know, the other feud with Daniel Bryan that you didn't mention is the Miz, because all the Miz has been trying to do is get this guy back in the ring.
That's right. And actually, what I'm hoping for is after Mania they flip-flop and they move one of the guys from another brand, then Miz starts it up, bro. Or maybe, I mean, if they really want to, I mean, if they really want to, they could do it. They could totally do a thing where at Mania, right, Shane and Bryan win, right? And then they do a backstage segment where, you know, Miz retains the IC belt and he walks in there and he's like, "Oh, you're back, huh? Well, you're lucky that you're on SmackDown and I'm on Raw." And then they do the fucking draft and then he ends up on the same show, bro. See, that would be fucking awesome, bro. It's so easy. Booking wrestling is so easy, dude. Like, why is it so complicated? You know, they make it so hard.
You know who tweets me every time you say that?
La Rocca?
Every single time.
Well, he tweeted us in the middle of the show, interrupting the show, La Rocca, last week. But wait, is he saying that booking's not that easy?
He's saying that you are not taking into account all the stuff that comes into it, such as dealing with personalities.
Oh no, I've always no. I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you. Yeah, I am. I know that there's egos, and I'm not. Look, let me rephrase what I said. I completely understand where he's coming from, because me and Draven have chastised wrestling fans for armchair booking, right? Without understanding that there's, you know, egos, contracts, all that stuff. I get it. I'm talking about just coming up with storylines that are simple. And what I'm trying to tell you is wrestling is a very simple kind of thing. Like, you don't have to overcomplicate things and create these like Breaking Bad level angles. It's just good versus evil.
But your favorite booker of all time, Vinny Rue.
That is not my favorite. My favorite booker of all time is John La Rocca, bro. Let's get that clear, okay?
That's my favorite booker.
I was gonna put him over, and now you're saying he's burying me behind the scenes.
No,
he's
not. I'm not. He's not burying you. He says, he tells me, he goes, "Doesn't D understand that there's more than just actually telling the story?" I said yes, but he's just not bringing that part up.
Tell him to give me the book for a month, bro. And we'll draw some fucking people in California, bro.
Yeah, you want to book APW?
Yeah, for a month. No, for 2 months. I need some time to build up some angles.
But there's no television, so you got to basically go house show to house show.
No, brother, we got social media, we got YouTube. Remember, and this is something that I'm not even kidding about this, you know, because I would know. You could have YouTube promos. I mean, it can be done. You know, that's fun, bro. I'll do it.
Okay, moving to the next thing, and you know, the focus of this show is just going to be, there's been a few updates here and there. We mostly wanted to tackle the Bryan thing, but there are a couple of things that are not currently tied up that are still a little bit out there, and so we want to talk about that stuff. But just to kind of give people the schedule, next week we'll have we should know the full card, and we can kind of talk about, sort of where these things are going. And then the next week is the last one that we'll do, and it'll be kind of like a preview. We'll talk about what we think is going to happen and all that stuff. So that's just kind of the schedule for the next 2 shows after this one. But there are a couple of loose ends out there still. Undertaker and Cena, for whatever reason.
Why are they taking so long to announce this, bro?
I mean, maybe they just want John Cena to cut 15-minute promos on the show.
But they can do that even if the match is announced.
I mean, do you remember last year how late in the game they announced Undertaker and Roman? I don't actually remember, but I don't know. It's kind of weird to me that they're waiting so long.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like, so do you predict that on Raw, Kane and Cena, like Cena beats him and then Taker comes out? Because they cannot wait for the go home show, dude. And I know the whole thing about, Mania sells itself, and I know that, the network is not pay-per-view, but they're cutting it really close. And I feel like the last Raw of the go home show should be like Undertaker talking.
Yeah.
That's what I think they should do.
Wasn't there a WrestleMania recently where there was some concern about whether Undertaker was going to wrestle or not, and then they didn't even have him on Raw until WrestleMania? I want to say it was the Santa Clara one. Yeah,
Bray Wyatt. Yeah, they did not even have him on there until then. Yeah, and then remember how the day of the show we found out that Bray Wyatt twisted his ankle or something?
Yeah, he got hurt. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, at this point, so if you would ask me, the things that I'm looking forward to most, I'm still looking forward to this because it is The Undertaker and it is John Cena, but I haven't liked the way that they've sold this match at all. I'm just kind of bored. Cena's going to cut a good promo. I don't know if he necessarily should be saying that Undertaker is selfish and stuff. Because do it's we weird. Know? I've never seen the Undertaker be a selfish guy. Did he stiff somebody on a tip? What is the reference point? So
yeah, it's we talked about it last week. It's he's trying to be quasi shoot, but there's no evidence of this being in either Undertaker or Mark Calloway's character. So it's you're creating a false narrative for both guys. It's very weird. It is very, very weird. It's almost I feel like Cena's almost lying. The character of John Cena is lying, but that's also uncharacteristic of John Cena. I don't know. I don't get it.
It's kind of weird. But so I would assume that next week, after the Kane match, I mean, they could wait until the go home. The weird thing is that everything seems like it's just stalling because we had the Rousey match how long ago, and then this is sort of the next biggest match on Raw after the main event. So we've had the Reigns and Lesnar thing for a long time. I'm not exactly sure why they're waiting so long, but maybe they have some super interesting thing next week.
Maybe Taker is not happy with the way he looks, and he waits a couple weeks to get more cut. I don't know. That's all I can think of. I mean, can you really get that cut in 2 weeks without? Well, I'm sure if you, how can we put this? If you cheat, maybe you can, but I don't think he would do that. Maybe he would. I don't know. I don't know. By the way, I did want to say one last thing about booking APW. Now, I did have a conversation with Roland on Facebook 10 years ago, and he did put me over. He put me over. My greatest accomplishments in my life was Roland and Les Thatcher putting me over. So La Rocca can trust me, bro.
Not getting blocked by Kevin Steen for calling him fat?
Yeah, but who cares about that guy, bro?
You just said he was so great in his facials and everything 10 minutes ago.
I have more respect for Les Thatcher and Roland Alexander, bro. That's a fact. And let's not forget that Les Thatcher, that promo he cut on the Figure 4 board is still my favorite promo of the past 10 years. So
I don't even remember what it was.
I will. You know what? I will send you the audio because we played it on K-Fabulous. I want you to listen to it, and there's no way you can't pop, bro. He goes so far as to say, I wonder if maybe their mothers knew me back in the day. Maybe he implies that he fucked somebody on the board's mother, bro. This is Les Thatcher, bro. It was awesome. Anyways, I'll send it to you later. It was awesome.
Okay, so did you see the thing with Ronda and Dana Brooke, which they did not show on television, but they showed on YouTube?
I saw I saw the cam version because I guess somebody in the building recorded the cam version, and then like when I heard the audio with Dave, I was like, oh, they showed it on YouTube. Yeah, I didn't see the YouTube version, but I saw the cam version.
So, what was she trying to do? Like, and the reason why I'm asking you is because I know she's a fan of superheroes and Dragon Ball and these, you know, Star Wars and all that stuff. Because didn't it look like she was trying to like do something in that realm when she blocked Dana Brooke's punch?
Yeah, well, she is a fan of Dragon Ball. She had a Vegeta shirt at WrestleMania 31 because Dragon Ball draws money. That being said, she I don't know, bro, but I hope she understands this is a work too. I hope, you know what I mean? Because I mean, she does. It's just one of those things where she might need more practice, dude. They might end up sending her. I mean, they're not going to send her to developmental because she's Ronda Rousey. But after this WrestleMania match, I think it might be time to take her off TV for a while. I know that's not a good idea for like marketing purposes, but it might be a good idea to have her train a little bit more. But again, I'm not a wrestler, so we'll find out. I mean, I'm sure Triple H will figure it out. Paul.
I think that I don't think she should wrestle again until the MSG house show that she's going to be on 4th of July weekend, and then until SummerSlam. Like I think, you know, she's going to do this match. She'll get some, you know, something out of it. Then she should go back and continue training, and I'm sure she's got other stuff that she's going to be doing as well. If they put her on TV every week, I mean, I think that's kind of a waste. Like, you need to set her up to have for people to miss her a little bit. So, but the other thing that's weird to me, so, you know, she does the throw on Dana Brooke, and she just kind of launched. She launched Dana Brooke.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
But I mean, but she's got to look. She's got to look strong, right? Like that. Like. That's how you have to book. You can't book her in a competitive, you know, chain wrestling, grappling minute and a half with Dana Brooke. Like, everybody beats up Dana Brooke, so she had to look impressive in doing so. Right. But the weird thing, so maybe this is why they set the match up so early. But
I want to beat up Dana Brooke.
Where have Steph and Triple H been?
It's weird because this is so non-Steph and Triple H, all right? Like, these two people love to be on TV. They love to cut promos, and they're good at it. Like, let's be real. Like, okay, yeah, Paul and, you know, the ego, blah, 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 all the marks say the same thing. They're good at cutting promos. They're good at being villains. I was at least expecting them. Like, I'm shocked that we didn't have, like, Kurt get laid out or have them at least come out and cut a promo. That's the weird thing. You would think that they're having this promo time for John Cena. They would give them promo time too, but you're right. There's like nothing.
I mean, this must be like planned time off, or is Stephanie doing other stuff where it's taking her away?
Vince is not going to let them take time off on the build to WrestleMania.
I don't know. Maybe Steph's got, you know, philanthropic, you know, stuff going on.
You think maybe she's training?
Or maybe she is training. Who knows? But still, like, she's on TV every other week. Why is, you know, she can...
You know, they've really dropped the ball on this. All right, let me put my Booker hat on, all right? This is just for La Rocca. What they should have done is they should do vignettes of her training and have it be like the Shane and Vince training for Austin, right? Have vignettes of Stephanie kicking around like a punching bag or a bag, and Triple H is holding it, you know, smiling, and have her just throw some of the worst freaking kicks and punches ever. But then by the end of the segment, she's like throwing punches like Rocky for some reason. Like, do stuff like that. Have her chasing chickens and things like that, and then do the whole. They gotta redo that angle where Shawn Michaels is in a wheelchair and Triple H twisted his leg around in 360 to build up for Ken Shamrock when he had the lollipop in his mouth. Redo that with Stephanie. Have like a prosthetic arm that turns all the way over and say, you know what, Ronda, your arm bar's not gonna work on me because I've been training my arm. See why? There's so much potential.
Okay,
here.
But do you want this to be comedy though? I don't know if comedy is the right way to do this.
No. Here's the idea. The idea is that The idea is that Stephanie is scared to death.
Yep.
So, right, this is like the psychology behind it. Stephanie is scared to death, but Triple H is like, not scared. Like Triple H is like, don't worry about it. We got this. You know what I mean? And that could kind of be like the story. You could do a little bit of comedy, mostly like her being scared to death. You know, obviously. Don't make a comedy joke out of Ronda or Kurt. See, that's what you have to do. Ronda and Kurt should be very serious. You don't want to do anything comedic with them. But with Stephanie, because she's not a wrestler, and she'll never do it because we know how they treat Stephanie. But it would be awesome if their whole story is that she's scared to death, and Triple H is telling her, "You'll be fine, you'll be fine, you'll be fine, you'll be fine." And then when she finally gets caught in the armbar at WrestleMania, she screams, "I tap!" You know, that's how you do it, bro. Like, and that would satisfy everyone.
See,
you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah. I think the story should be that Triple H is very concerned. He does not want his wife in this match, and thus it's his goal to never tag her in to this match because he doesn't.
No, I agree with that too. Actually, yeah.
So I mean,
I agree with that too.
you know, and then at some point, you know, unfortunately, it accidentally maybe even, or maybe Steph thinks that. You know, maybe Ronda gets knocked down at some point, and Steph just tags herself in because she wants to finish the match, and then, you know, and then Ronda's playing Fabricio Verdum on his back, pretending like
with a boomerang.
No.
I mean, let's be real, dude. Let's be real. Okay, let's be real. This can't be a serious match because it's Steph. It can't be like a deathly serious All Japan main event. It can't. It's Steph. So I think you should accentuate the positives and hide the negatives. Steph is a great performer. She's not a very good wrestler. So I think I agree with your idea. In fact, we could even combine both of our ideas. You could do like Stephanie, you know, what I said, and then they do a segment on Raw where Ronda almost beats up Steph, but she runs away, and then you have like you change the angle where now Triple H is like really concerned. He's been trying to train Stephanie against Ronda, but he realizes, okay, we've kind of underestimated Ronda here. You know, and they could even do a thing where Triple H says, oh, she hasn't fought in 2 years. You know, the last 2 fights she lost. You know, she's going to be easy pickings. But then when Stephanie tries to fuck with her and Ronda, you know, like not beats her up, but like, you know, pushes her out of the ring or blocks all her moves or something cool like that. Ronda's a Dragon Ball fan, so she knows how to do this. You know, then Triple H could be like, okay, I'm scared. See what I'm saying? Like, you could combine both of our ideas. You know, let's see what LaRocca says, bro. I mean, he's the genius, right?
I would just like to see what Triple H and Stephanie are thinking right now, but we haven't seen them on TV for many weeks now.
I'm telling you, bro, imagine how awesome it would be if they did those vignettes of Stephanie and Triple H training, dude. And you don't want to overdo it with the comedy, but a little bit of comedy I think will work. Basically, the idea is here's how it works. Let me tell you how, like, the whole psychology here. The idea is to tell the audience, the wrestling fans, that Stephanie has no chance of winning because she doesn't. She has no chance. No wrestling fan actually believes that Stephanie McMahon can beat Ronda Rousey in fake wrestling or real wrestling. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? You can't do it. So I feel like that's what you should do. Like subtly tell the audience Steph is going to get killed, and people are going to pay a ticket to see Steph get killed. That's what they want. That's how it works. That's classic 80s wrestling with a chicken shit heel.
Okay.
You don't like it?
No, I'm just a little perplexed, I would say, as to why they've done nothing with this thing. I mean, the Ronda thing that on Monday was great. It was a great video, but it just goes like, I wonder if they're getting a little bit of cold feet because you remember they said that she was going to be on every show, then she missed a show, and then this week she was only on the live show, house show part of Raw. She wasn't on the actual TV show except for in that video package. So I don't know. I'm just trying to think of why, and you know, whatever the reason is, hopefully they have some good ideas for these last 2 weeks.
Me too.
Okay. So I want your thoughts on them changing the name of the Moolah Battle Royale
to the Women's Battle Royale. The Rock is upset about that one, bro. See, I think what really happened is they heard our show and they were like, yeah, let's not give this to, because The Rock might take credit for us. Let's take that away from him. That's what I'm thinking. Or they heard Dave's show where he pretty much buried her 6 feet under. That's tasteless because she's actually dead. Don't edit that out. I'll figure out a different way to phrase it. Anyways, it's interesting because they have to call it something, right? Trish Stratus Battle Royal? Like what? Alundra Blaze Battle Royal? Sherry Martel, right? I mean, am I right on that?
Why didn't they just call it the Spider Lady Battle Royal?
Oh, God. You popped me with that one, but, I mean, the Wendy Richter Battle Royal with Sheiky Baby out there, bro.
Or the Cyndi Lauper Battle Royal?
Bro, why is she not in the Hall of Fame?
She will. It has to be her saying no, right?
It has to be. But no, next year they're in New York, though, right? And that's – which, by the way, I broke. And they're in New York next year. You know, obviously, WrestleMania 1, New York, you know, and all the stuff she did. She has to go in. Kid Rock is in this fucking thing and not Cyndi Lauper. You realize – and I know you realize this, but I'm telling the fans, the audience listening to us, Cyndi Lauper is one of, if not the biggest reason why this company blew up in '84. Like her and Mr. T are the real, like, Vince owes them is what I'm trying to tell you, bro. That's what I'm trying to say. Like anybody who understands wrestling history and not WWE history, actual wrestling history, Cyndi Lauper is what put WWE on MTV. And that people don't understand how big that was in '84.
Cyndi Lauper and David Wolf. Okay, so but what about to going back to the actual battle royal name being changed? So the Twitter the Twitter mafia, always looking for the hypocrisy in things, went after the Snickers brand, right? The WWE's main advertiser, and made this information very clear about who the Fabulous Moolah was. And it seems like that's the reason that they changed the name. What do you think about, in our world today, of how things work with social media and the immediacy of news getting around like that? What did you think of WWE quickly catering and changing?
I was very surprised because they rarely do that.
Because we even mentioned on the last show that we didn't think that they would change.
Well, you're right. They rarely do this. This is very so. Though, didn't Dave say that like one of the sponsors called them, right?
Well, I think it was Snickers. It was. So one of their main one of their main sponsors. I think that's what the story is that they got WWE to change it because they were unhappy with the idea.
No, I mean, what can you do? You know what I'm saying? At least it wasn't called the Jimmy Snuka Battle Royal. At least we dodged a bullet with that one. But
well, imagine if they did a show this year where they were praising Jimmy Snuka up and down. Think of how quickly the world has changed for them. In such a short time, they could no longer do that Jimmy Snuka show like they did in 2018, and they're going to have to be a lot better at their due diligence with this stuff, ongoing. I mean, can you imagine them trying to bring Hulk Hogan back right now?
That's the thing. I feel like this Snickers thing may have really postponed Hogan coming back for a while. He'll be back eventually, but it'll be a bit.
The idea that your past coming to haunt you is it's something that you always have to be aware of. But this is a business where lots of guys did really bad things, and at some point you got to pay for the skeletons in your closet. But at other points, some of that stuff happened a long time ago. And the thing that I mentioned this on the show that I did with Draven over the weekend. Basically, the business can't be both this 2018 entertainment company and still live in their carny past. You have to pick. You can't be both. Not in 2018.
We really saw that when Linda ran for office. Remember that whole thing? How they brought up those clips from the Attitude Era? And all they can say is it's television. But the Moolah stuff was not televised. All the stuff that she did. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Is it going to be on the pre-show?
Draven and I were trying to figure out what the schedule would be for these matches, and it's hard. Can you put both battle royals on the pre-show?
I don't know. We're gonna have to probably do something similar, like in 2 weeks when we do our preview and kind of book like where they would go. Our boy Pedro Grunner, Billy Kidman's gonna have a nightmare. And now we also found out too. We didn't even mention this because nobody cares. Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander for the cruiserweight title has been added to the show.
Yep, that should open the pre-show because it's going to be a really fun match.
Where's the European title or the UK title? Where's that at, bro?
Hopefully they'll give him a match on Takeover, but I try to stay away from NXT spoilers so I can watch the TV show. So I'm not sure. Maybe that's announced. Maybe that's not announced. But I mean that would be the place to do that. Okay, so
that belt is more pointless than the never open weight title, bro, in my opinion. So yeah.
Okay, so I want your quick thoughts on these next few things. We got through the important stuff, but there are some small things with loose ends. So AJ Styles is probably hurt.
Oh, that's a weird one. That's a weird one, yeah.
But it sounds like he'll be okay for WrestleMania. You noticed last night in the Nakamura thing, they made sure that he wasn't going to get physical at all.
No, and I don't know what to say. I mean, I hope it doesn't ruin the match. I really hope it doesn't ruin the match. But if he is hurt, I could see Nakamura winning.
He may win anyways.
And it's funny because people were asking me. I had one of my friends ask me, if he wins, is he the first Japanese champion, world WWE champion? I said, because Yokozuna wasn't really Japanese.
Right.
He was right, and the answer is no, because Inoki beat Bob Backlund in '79, but WWE does not count it as part of their official history unless they put Inoki in the Hall of Fame, and that year they did. Like that one year they broke their little canon kayfabe, and Bob Backlund's mysteriously a two-time champion, but in their official history books they never even recognize that title change. So,
but didn't they give him like the martial arts belt or something?
Yeah, that's different, though. That was later. Okay. He actually was the WWE champion, defeated Bob Backlund, and they don't recognize it. It's one of those not phantom titles. One of those changes, like the Ric Flair ones, like with Victor Hovica or whatever in Jamaica, one of them. Yeah, or whatever. Why are you laughing, bro?
Because you're thinking of that Jack Venom something. That's the guy you're thinking of, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so also made final is Nia versus Alexa. They're still going with the fat angle with Nia. Alexa said she got the 300-pound whatever off her back or whatever she said about that. So
that was a pretty good line, though.
It was. I mean, it's it's not hard though. It's not hard to write fat jokes, man.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I heard them all my life. Trust me, I know.
So that's official. I actually like Alexa Bliss in this role. The match is going to suck, and I hope it's going to be a squash match or, one of the shorter matches because, like you said, they're going to have time issues throughout the entire show. So hopefully it's a short one. But
also, I just want to say 1 week later, I still don't care about Bobby Roode, Nakamura, and Jinder Mahal. I'm sorry, Bobby Roode, Randy Orton, Jinder Mahal. I just don't care. It's just they're doing nothing for me, dude. Like I don't know.
That's a second match. Once the main show starts and you get I'm trying to think of what would be the first match of the main card, but this is the second match.
That could open, yeah, and then just do it quick. RKO 1, 2, 3, and get it out.
Yeah, 7 minutes or something.
No, less, like 4.
No, come on, it's Randy Orton, man.
Yeah, but I'm not feeling this angle. I think they should just do longer matches, like at Backlash or whatever the show after Mania is. Do the rematch there, have it be longer.
What did you hear my Miz idea for the match with Seth and Finn?
Well, tell us.
Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't say this last week because I can't remember if I did.
I don't remember.
Okay, so for this match, they start the match and it's the three guys and they're doing some spots and all of a sudden you have Curtis Axel come down or you have the Miz Taraj come down. And they look really serious, and they're like pointing at Miz, and they're like, "You got to go, you got to go, you got to go." And Miz is like kind of confused, and he's like, "Oh man, what am I supposed to do?" And so he leaves, and so the announcers go, his child was supposed to be born around this time. I wonder if he has to go to see the delivery of his child. And so then they do the Rollins and Finn match, which it's much better with them by themselves than with the Miz involved. And so, you know, they go for 10 minutes or whatever, and you kind of forget about the Miz, and then all of a sudden, you know, the Miz sneaks behind Finn or Seth and hits the skull-crushing finale and wins, and it's all sort of a ruse. So I think that would be like a super cool idea based around the reality of what's happening with Miz and his wife and the birth of their child. But it can't work if the child is actually born before WrestleMania.
Well, I think they should also incorporate the Miztourage and the Bullet Club to do like maybe some outside interference stuff. Like it would be cool if like maybe you have Ambrose at ringside. He can't wrestle, but maybe he can like have one of his crutches and like fucking hit someone with it like that. You know, you could do fun stuff like that in that match. But that's another one where I think that should be like 5, 6, 7 minutes. That shouldn't go long either. And that sucks because okay. If they're gonna let Finn and Seth do cool stuff, then I guess they can go long. But I just, how long is this show gonna be, dude?
Remember, it's gonna be 7 hours.
I mean, here's the thing. When I went to Mania 33, right, it was like 7 hours or like 7.5 hours. And I enjoyed the heck out of it, but that's mostly because I was sitting in a really good section where I had like empty seats to both sides because I guess nobody bought those tickets, and that's always sweet. And I had the wind blowing really cold, so I wasn't like dying in the heat. Some of my friends that were on the floor were freaking toasted, but where I was at, it was so freaking comfortable. Like I was literally like lounging there, just chilling, watching this show. I can't even imagine like if you're sitting in one of them uncomfortable chairs. Like I don't know, bro. That's a long time.
All right, who's going to be Braun Strowman's partner against the Bar?
Here's what I don't understand. Is he getting to choose his own partner, or has one already been chosen? Because Elias makes sense, but why would Strowman team up with him?
Yeah, I think he's got to choose. I don't think it's going to be chosen for him.
Yeah, but how would it make sense? Like, why would he pick Elias? You know,
I don't either this week or the next week or the go home show. They should just have a bunch of guys like coming up to him and going like, "Hey man, you know, you need a partner? I want to be on WrestleMania. What do you think?"
Kurt Hawkins,
right? Well, that's my guy. That's who I think it should be. But just so he can break his streak, and and then right, and then so he's just turning down guys left and right. You know, Goldust comes up and he just like no, and then all of a sudden, go home show, maybe the last segment, out pops our boy Samoa Jones, and he's like, that's my
good
guy.
Idea.
That's my guy.
That's a good idea. Turn him baby, but he's a heel though. You have to turn him baby.
I mean, yeah, you would definitely have to do it, but you know they could be like those partners who kind of really don't trust each other, but know that it's best for the team or whatever.
They could do some creative stuff too if they really want to, and just have Braun Strowman say, "I'll pick the day of the show," and then the day of Mania have like Randy Orton retain the U.S. title, and then have Bobby Roode come back and be his partner for that match and switch brands. I mean, they could do stuff like that too. I don't know. I thought it'd be more fun to see Braun take on two dudes.
You would want to see that.
Oh, I set myself up for it, but that's all right.
All right. So, is there anything else? I guess from your perspective, because you're going to be there live, the Daniel Bryan. You mentioned this a little bit in the beginning, but the Daniel Bryan addition to this show is just going to make it a little bit sweeter for that live crowd.
Hell yeah, that should be. I'll be real with you. That probably should be third to last or second to last. Like that. That's a good like buffer for the main event because. Well, I don't know, because the crowd's going to be hot for that.
They may open with it. They could open with it.
They could open with it, actually. You're right. You know what? They could. Does that mean that Shane's going to, like, do some crazy? I mean, he has to do something.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, maybe it could be the
maybe
elbow.
He'll take the package pile driver.
Yeah, he could do that. Or, I mean, he always, the fun Shane spot that I always get a kick out of, and they don't have to do anything crazier than this. Is him jumping from the top rope onto the table with the elbow? Like I know it's still kind of dangerous, but like he doesn't have to jump off anything more than that. Like that's the thing that will get a pop.
Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I think you're right. I think that should open, and then the last two matches should probably be Flair and Asuka and then Roman and Lesnar. And then before that, you can do Cena Taker, or you can do the Ronda thing. See, this is these Mania cards are always hard to put together because that you could close the show with like 4 matches, because that's what a super card is. I mean, that's the definition of a super card. You know what I mean? So it's still kind of a challenge, because right now you could close with, because Ronda and Kurt is the big mainstream match. That could go on in the middle though. And then Cena Taker can't be too early either. That's like the hour 3 main event. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know. This is going to be, I mean, I'm excited, bro. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't originally, but the card's actually looking pretty good. Like, this is the thing why I'm excited. I'm actually looking forward to every match. This is really, dude, exactly. And we've talked about this so many times. Like, I'm going to be there live in the 5th row, and I'm going to freaking look forward to every match. Like, when I hear Nia Jackson Alexa, I'm going to pop for that, because I hope it's going to be big man or big girl, little girl, her running away and Nia trying to get her, and he finally gets her. Like, I like that stuff. Asuka and Charlotte could be great. Daniel Bryan. There's just so many things this is one of the rare Manias where I'm actually looking forward to every match.
Well, you just said Randy Orton
except that one. I was just you got me right with that's the only one that I don't. The only thing that I'm looking forward to in that one is having Randy Orton walk to the ring with a big penis sperm in front of him wiggling, and him complaining about it later on. That's the only thing I pop for.
Oh man.
Okay. Now, do we know anything about Broken Matt? Do you want to talk about that?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is the only thing we haven't talked about, but because it's not really WrestleMania related, but I wanted your thoughts on Ultimate Deletion, because I know you liked the goofiness of the original.
Well, I liked the goofiness in this one too. I loved it. It was so different, and it was so. Here's the thing. I'm gonna come off like a hypocrite, and I know that I am, because I don't like when wrestling does things that are not believable. Like, for example, when Hornswoggle drew a hole in a wall and then went through the hole, and then Carlito tried to do it and he hit his head, or when Triple H and Shawn. Remember when Triple H and Shawn went under the ring?
Yeah.
It was a portal to the midget world.
Little people's court.
Yeah, that's just, it's too much for me. But yet this wasn't. I don't know why. I guess I'm a hypocrite. I hate to say it, but I guess we're like John Lennon once said, we're all hypocrites at heart. Because I liked it. It was different. It was awesome. It was, a lot of the jokes were redone from the TNA one, but seeing it on WWE TV was so surreal. And I hope that I loved it. I'm not gonna lie. It was the best, worst thing ever, and I really hope that this means that Bray Wyatt's gonna get repackaged. Here's what's gonna happen, bro. I'm gonna call this one. Okay, so in about a month, right? Matt's gonna be in the ring, and then some fat guy's gonna come out of the crowd, right, and beat down on Matt Hardy. Then he's gonna get a mic. He's gonna say, "The creative geniuses here in this company thought that my name should be Bray Wyatt, but damn it, I'm not a Wyatt. I'm a damn freaking, fucking Wyndham, and that's my name. I am Wyndham Rotunda. Damn it, that they should do that."
Wyndham Rotunda, huh?
Yeah, have him come out as Wyndham Rotunda, bro. I mean, obviously you get the reference, right? That's the I'm doing the Vince Russo joke where Dustin Rhodes came out, and you remember 7, right?
Yep.
They got me to have him come out and say they had me trick or treating for 3 years, and I got involved in the worst angles in the history of the company, but I'm done with it. I am now Wyndham Rotunda, and then nobody will give a shit understand.
He's literally all by himself, the U.S. Express, right?
Yeah, isn't that weird? Isn't that the? I don't know if you're calling him fat there, but
no. I'm just saying, because of his names, his 2 names put together, Wyndham and Rotunda. He's the U.S. Express.
Maybe you should come out with Real American. Take that song back.
Take it back. They don't need it anymore, right? Because
for a while. Well, they've always got the other one, the American Made song.
Oh man.
Or the Mr. America song. Oh no, that was Real American. Never mind. I miss Mr. America.
Mr. America was fun for while it lasted.
A month. Yeah.
Okay, so what we should probably do is on the go home Road to WrestleMania show. We should try to figure out what the match order is, and then we'll tease this because we actually predicted this last year. We'll tease what match we think Jimmy Ross should call.
Right now?
No, I say we'll do this in the upcoming couple weeks.
I've already got my pick, bro.
Because you remember last year when we actually came up with the idea and then they did it.
Well, remember, I think I told you on this show, I think Ross should call Cena and Taker, and I think Mauro Ranallo should call the Ronda Rousey match.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. But you just spoiled it.
I don't care. Just like WWE, they'll forget by next week, bro.
All right. No, I think I want to have this discussion because I think what you should do, well, and I'll tease it here, but I think what they should do is they should actually promote what match Jim Ross is going to call, and they should promote the fact that, you know, they have these special announcers. You know, you bring back Jim Ross. You know, hell, bring back Jesse Ventura. You know,
come on, bro. I wish.
But right, do it like you. Do it just to create interest. Like, why not? Like, why keep what match Jim Ross is going to call a secret? Like, you know, why don't you have, you know, just to create a little bit more excitement, you know? Like, I think they should do stuff like that.
I agree. I think King Kong Bundy should do the commentary for the Andre Battle Royal, right? I think for the women's, it could be Lita, right? You got her. You could have...
Now we're back to WrestleMania 2 with all the guest commentators.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you can't have freaking Big Cat Ernie Ladd out there calling Gorilla Monsoon Gino the entire time, bro, because he didn't give a shit. You know what, Gino? He's using his real name, dude.
Well, sometimes Ventura would call him that too.
I know, like I love that kind of stuff. But
Gino Monsoon.
So does that mean that Fat Gabe is going to be the one? Another great booker. Is he going to be doing the commentary for the Daniel Bryan, Kevin Steen, Generico freaking thing?
He should.
He should. I agree. Lenny Leonard, bro, bring him back.
Oh, that would be awesome.
No, I don't think it would be. But
no, you know why? Because when WrestleMania 31 weekend, I was hanging out with our buddy Alan 4L. And we could
have him commentate AJ and Nakamura.
No, he's got to commentate Finn because they're both Irish.
That's right, bro.
But he and Lenny, Lenny was, you could hear the play-by-play because he's doing it for the live stream, and then like, you know, Alan would like talk to him like, you know, in between segments or something, and so him and Alan were going back and forth. That guy was a nice guy.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I was just fucking with him. I had to fuck around this show.
Yeah, I think we know. Okay, so next week and the following week, we have 2 more shows to go. This card has actually shaped up, like you said, to be pretty darn good. The Daniel Bryan thing has made it even more interesting, and we got they got 4 more shows to go to fill out their own booking, and I'm interested. That's what I have to say is I am interested in what they're doing. So.
And I'm going to give them credit for keeping things interesting week to week, even though this week was all right. Like, they're doing new stuff every week. So I agree. Next week, they got to finalize Taker Cena, and that we need to have some kind of Triple H and Steph promo because those Raw shows are really long, and you should fill them up with things like that. You know what I mean? Because Triple H and Steph are good at it, dude. They're great at doing these kind of promos. Like, you know, do it. Where's the part? Where the hell is like Hunter beating up on Kurt Angle, bro? Like, I expected him to pedigree Kurt by now, bro.
I want Kurt to shoot over him. I want Kurt to shoot on him, like not shoot, like fight him, but I want him to like take a shot, like go get a double leg on him.
Okay, that works too. And then have Stephanie pulled out, and then her replacement is going to be Daniel Puder, bro. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome. All right, so we'll be back here same time next week. And so for Big D, I'm Double G. We will see you when we see you on that road to WrestleMania. Peace out.
Bye.